Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're Team UPPlastic, and today we're gonna present about our warehouse automation project. Okay, so first off, let's talk about how we came up with this project. It started off by a casual conversation on the dinner table with my uncle, and we were just talking about family businesses, and he was talking about how he wants to automate his the operations in the company's facilities. So that's what triggers me to come up with this project and talk with my friends, and yeah, that's how we came up with the project. Okay, so let's talk about some of the basic informations of the company. There's 17 machines in the factory, and there's around 100 employees in the UPPlastic company. In the facilities, it's separated into 5 main sections. The first is material, production, quality control, warehouse, and then loading. We produce houseware such as drawers, chairs, and baskets, and just normal housewares. So we've identified 3 main pain points of the warehouse. First is the inefficiencies in the transporting of the products from the production line to the warehouse. As you can see from the middle picture, we're still using these trolleys, which is like a very traditional way of transporting goods. The second is labor intensive. We have to assemble all of our products in the warehouse and also move all of the transportation of the products from the production line to the warehouse. It's all labor. And then the disorganized warehouse inventory, such as this is our first field visit to the factory in Mesot. It's up north in Thailand. And we have the chance to propose some of the initial findings that we found. And yeah, this field visit really helped us to know that it's actually not that easy in the real world, because there's a visit which is at a company called Boss Pharmacare. They sell all of these pharmaceutical products, automated storage and retrieval system. So their warehouse is what my uncle was picturing his warehouse to be. So we went to this factory to get a picture of what the real thing is.
So let's talk about our development plan, what we have done so far. So first part is our initial proposal of what we thinking that we should do. Next up. So we're trying to use the barcode that only implement to the product for customer sake to scanning them and counting them to account how many product within the warehouse. However, we're thinking that scanning each barcode is not different from counting it, but we have to expense more on the software. So we're thinking that this might not be worth it. And also the RFID, if you don't know it, it's just like the radio frequency chip, the small chip that attached to the product. However, using this will increase the cost of the product. Due to UPPlastic is not like the high margin product, this will only create more damage than benefit the company. And last one, ASRS, like my friend already mentioned, which is the ideal warehouse. But due to the very high cost, without government support, we just shouldn't do it. Next one. The pallet flow is another one that we're trying to solve the counting unit. So we suggest 2 of it, which is drive-in and pallet flow. The drive-in, if you next slide, please. If you never see it, it's just like the big pallet that the car can drive to and pick up the pallet and moving for the warehouse directly to the trucks. So this is not easy for the bookkeeping, since not all the product is moving from the pallet into the car, and this is hard to count all the rest of the product within the pallet. And the first in first out the pallet flow, which should be good, But however, due to the large size of the product and the variety SKU, so this is not very suitable since it's very fixed and not flexible. Next. So our possible implementation, what we can do right now. So since all the product is very like the large box and contain a lot of space and is pretty much light and easy to assemble, we're thinking if it's possible for us to like working like the idea for selling the pre-assembled product in the lower price to make it efficient in terms of like transportation. Is if you like is thinking about like the cargo transportation, if you fold it will like save a lot of space. And if like customer don't willing to buy the pre-assembled product, we can just like assemble the product at the nearest warehouse to maximize the efficiency of the transportation. Next. And AGV. So this is the problem of like the night shift worker since the company work 24/7. So the night shift worker usually like resting in the warehouse, so making it efficient. So we want to minimize worker walkability, so we limited them into the station and transport them into transport the product from the workstation into the warehouse, which like make it like limited the space for them to moving around and make them work to the most efficient. Next. Okay, so the warehouse plan is another thing that we can do right now. So right now the warehouse plan is pretty much in the U shape, as you can see. The right one. So it's really like he did the best that he can, but due to the limited space, it's pretty hard to organize, especially when there's two floors. There's two floors, as you can see in the picture. It's two floors, and it limited just 2 stairs for transporting the product up and down, and also just 1 elevator. So it's pretty much hard if you like moving the strategic product, that product that's moving around up in the 2nd floor. So we can organize the product where it should be located. So there's like many like strategy we can work on about that. And the area is pretty much messed up in the strategic area and shipping area, so we can work on that. Last part is warehouse extension. So warehouse extension is like the company have planned to extend the warehouse in the area that they already own. In the area that you can see is very large area, but like what to consider if they want to build a new warehouse. Next. So we list out the most important thing that we should consider before the building new warehouse. First off, the layout and design. So from the site visit, we can see that the level of the warehouse is pretty much the same level as ground level. So it's hard to upload and unload product from the truck that usually higher than the ground level. And that we see that usually the company that already like thinking in the term of like long-term investment, they will like lifting the ground to be higher than the ground level to make it easier to upload and unload the product. And also we researched that the I-shaped warehouse where the product moving in the initial flow is actually better than the U-shape and making it suitable for the bigger company. However, we have to consider the capacity or the production capacity of the company. If company still like selling at the same price, at the same amount, and develop at the same amount, it's unnecessary to build the new warehouse. The budget and ROI is pretty much important since SME in Thailand don't have that much investment. We should like using the ROI investment to see whether this is the best investment or not. As we see from the Boss Pharmacy, they say that the warehouse is not the best investment if you don't have the government support, since it don't give you up much return. So you might consider invest in another thing that actually give you the return of better product. Time and adaptation, we divide it into external and internal factor. External factors such as the work cost, that in Thailand they say that they will increase the workforce cost by twice to 600 baht a day. So we might see that. And also the electric cost and maintenance cost, something like that. And also very important thing, which is the competition between the technology provider, which should lead to the lower cost in technologies. And internal factor including the production capacity, as I mentioned, and also the workforce rotation. From the site visit, we can see that the workforce, if we're trying to implement the technology to replace the people and we still give the people unnecessary work, is no need to implement this new technology since we still use the same amount of worker and get the same output. So we have to really consider where you should put the people next.
Okay, so let's talk about what are the required skill sets that is required to work on our project. The first is project management because obviously we have to manage everything about the project, and strategic consulting skills and management and operations consulting skills is also required because it's a very important aspect of this kind of project. Effective communication is also one of the most important thing for us to consider because we have to talk with three other stakeholders, which is the owners, the external companies, and within our team. So it's a very important skill. And the last one is adaptability because whenever we're working on these projects, we never know what we're going to face, what challenges, what we're going to meet. So we have to be very adaptable. And the limitations and the challenges we've met throughout the whole project this year is first, the limited space in the production area of the company's facilities. The machines occupies the majority of the space in the facilities, which makes it very hard to move around or very hard to work on some of the ideas we've proposed. The second is the warehouse height. The height is 9.5 meters, which is actually already high, but if we have already planned beforehand, we can make it higher to make it suitable to turn it into an automated warehouse. Also, some of the other challenges we've met during our work is the time difference in the first semester. We were all abroad, so we were not in the same time zone, and it's very hard to communicate with each other. And we find it hard to find external consulting companies because we're just like a student. So those companies, most of them wouldn't help us because we're not that serious like with the project. In my opinion, I think they would rather stick to like other
Big company.
Customers.
Yeah.
So our core achievements from this project is first to identify the root causes of the problems, and then we proposed a workable development plan to the company and facilitated the company with a comprehensive investment strategy. And lastly, we managed to partner up with a top-tier consulting company in Thailand. And these are the team members of our team. Thank you for listening to our team's presentation.
Our team member right there.
Thank you. Before we conclude, do we have any questions or suggestions or feedback for the team? If not, well done. Thank you once again for presenting to us today.